happy morning, children. Welcome to the chemistry session, part 2, unit 14, acid, bases and salts. So in the previous session, we discussed about, I tried explaining about acids, its classification and the chemical reaction, its uses and all. Then we discussed about what is aqua regia. So aqua regia is nothing but King's water. In Latin it is called as King's water, and it is nothing but Very happy morning, children. Welcome to the chemistry session, part 2, unit 14, acid, bases and salts. So in the previous session, we discussed about, I tried explaining about acids, its classification and the chemical reaction, its uses and all. Then we discussed about what is aqua regia. So aqua regia is nothing but King's water. In Latin it is called as King's water, and it is nothing but the combination of the solutions HCl and HNO3, that is hydrochloric acid and nitric acid, which helps to dissolve the noble metals like gold, silver and platinum. Then we had a small introduction about the bases, right? So what are bases? When it contains OH minus ion, we call those substances as bases. Okay, so for example, detergents comes under bases. Okay, that is, it will have replaceable hydroxyl ions. It will have replaceable hydroxyl ions, whereas acid has hydroxide. Acid has hydrogen ions. Okay, acid has H plus ions, that is its replaceable atom, whereas bases will have OH minus ions. So today we will see the classification of bases. So first, as usual, as it is like in acid, its classifications are based on their acidity. So first one is monoacidic base. So what is monoacidic base? It is a base that ionizes in water to give one hydroxide ion per molecule. So see the example, NaOH, one hydroxide ion, OH. OH base means it will have OH. So in KOH, potassium hydroxide. Okay, so if it has only one replaceable hydroxide ion, okay, not hydrogen ion, it is hydroxide ion. So when it has only one hydroxide ion, replaceable hydroxide ion, it is called as monoacidic base. What is diacidic base? If it has two replaceable hydroxide ion. So the examples are CaOH2, that is calcium hydroxide, or magnesium hydroxide. Okay, you can see the 2 in the suffix of OH. Then triacidic base. So what is triacidic base? If it has 3 hydroxyl replaceable hydroxide ions. Okay, so based on their sources, it is classified into, based on their acidity, it is classified into monoacidic base, diacidic base and triacidic base. The second is based on concentration. So based on concentration, first one is concentrated alkali. So what is concentrated alkali? It is an alkali having a relatively high percentage of alkali in its aqueous solution. Relatively high percentage of alkali. If it has high percentage of alkali in its solution, then it is called as concentrated alkali. So that is, the solvent amount will be very less, that is the water amount will be very less, and the alkali amount will be more in number. The percentage of alkali is more. Such type of solutions are called as concentrated alkali. If it is dilute alkali, the solvent amount will be more than the percentage of alkali. Okay, so it is an alkali having relatively low percentage of alkali in its aqueous solution. So next, based on ionization. So based on ionization, you can classify that into 2 strong bases and a weak base. So strong base means these are bases which ionize completely in aqueous solution. Such type of solutions are called as strong base. Example, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. Whereas weak base, that ionizes partially in aqueous solution, ammonium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. Okay, so these are the classifications of bases. So what are the classifications of bases we have seen now? We have seen 3 classifications of bases. One is based on acidity, which contains monoacidic base, diacidic base, triacidic base. And the second one is based on concentration, concentrated alkali, dilute alkali. The third one is based on ionization, strong base and weak base. So then we will see, then the next topic which we are going to see is properties of bases. They have bitter taste. Okay, they have bitter taste, whereas acid is sour taste, whereas bases have bitter taste. Their aqueous solutions have soapy touch. That is why detergent comes under base, soapy touch. They turn red litmus blue. They turn red, very important point. Okay, they turn red litmus blue. They turn red litmus paper. When you dip the red litmus paper, when you keep the red litmus paper on the surface of the bases, it turns into blue color. Then the aqueous solution conduct electricity. Acids and bases conduct electricity because acid has plus ion, whereas base has negative ions. Okay, so when these two contains ions within it, they can able to conduct electricity. Then bases react with metals to form salt with the liberation of hydrogen gas. So when bases react with metals, it forms salt. It forms salt with the liberation of hydrogen gas. With the liberation of hydrogen gas. See the equation given here, zinc, Z10 stands for zinc, and 2 amount of sodium hydroxide gives sodium zinc oxide, that is a soap. Sodium zinc oxide plus salt, not soap, sorry, plus hydrogen, where hydrogen is the gas. Then you will have bases react with non-metallic oxides to produce salt and water. When base reacts with non-metallic oxides, it gives salt and water. It gives salt and water when it reacts with non-metallic oxides. Since this is similar to the reaction between a base and an acid, between a base and an acid, we can conclude that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. So see the reaction, calcium hydroxide plus carbon dioxide gives calcium carbonate, CaCO3, calcium carbonate. Whenever you have 3 in the suffix, the last ending will have ATE. Okay, so calcium carbonate plus water, H2O is water. Bases react with acids to form salt. When base react with acids, it forms salt and water. Keep this in mind. This is very important 2-mark question. How does salt formed when base reacts with acid? Okay, or what is formed when base reacts with acid? So the question may differ. The answer is bases reacts with acids to form salt and water. So this is potassium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. Potassium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid. Potassium hydroxide is the base. The hydrochloric acid, this is acid, gives potassium chloride. Potassium chloride. So potassium chloride is the salt. Potassium chloride is the salt plus water. Okay, so bases react with acids to form salt and water. So the above reaction between a base and an acid is known as neutralization reaction. So this reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Okay, neutralization reaction. When base reacts with acid, gives salt and water. So such type of reactions are called as neutralization reaction. On heating with ammonium salts, bases gives ammonium gas. Okay, so ammonium gas. On heating with ammonium salts, bases give ammonium gas. This is sodium hydroxide plus ammonium chloride gives sodium chloride plus water plus ammonia. Ammonia is a gas. So whenever upward arrow mark is given, it indicates that compound is a gas. Okay. The few metals do not react with the sodium hydroxide. These may come under a 2-mark question. Few metals do not react with sodium hydroxide. That is, examples are the metals which do not react with the sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, a formula is sodium hydroxide is NaOH. Okay, sodium hydroxide NaOH. The metals which do not react with sodium hydroxide is copper, silver and chromium. Copper, silver. Ag is a symbol for silver. Argentum, its scientific name is argentum. Silver scientific name is argentum. So the symbol is Ag. Okay, because silver starts with the letter S, we cannot put the symbol S, as sulfur already has the symbol S. So that is why from the scientific name silver gets the symbol Ag. So copper, silver and chromium. So these metals do not react with the sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH. Next, below you have an activity. So this activity implies you that acids and bases conducts electricity. Acids and bases conduct electricity, whereas the other things doesn't conduct electricity. This is what given in this activity. Okay, so you are asked to take the solution of hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid in a beaker, and 2 nails are fixed and connected to 6-volt battery. Okay, so you have to pour dilute hydrochloric acid in the beaker and check whether the bulb glows, whether the current is passed and the bulb glows. Yes, of course, acid and bases are ionic compounds. So current naturally conducted by acid and bases. Okay, current naturally conducted by acid and bases, whereas glowing of the bulb indicates that there is a flow of electric current through the solution, because we have added hydrochloric acid. Okay, so and also they asked us to check whether the current glows when you take glucose solution or any other solution, and also if you take alkalis as sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide, will the bulb glows. That we will do in the laboratory whenever we have time to use. So next, try it yourself. Construct a lemon cell as shown in the picture. Coins are coated with a metal called copper. Screws are coated with a metal called zinc. Leads are found in all sorts of electronic equipment, and copper wire has metal inside, connects the coins with the screws. But you have to collect all these things and you have to perform this experiment. We will discuss this in the normal class. Whenever the school reopens, we will discuss that after the school reopens. So now let me discuss about uses of bases. The sodium hydroxide is used in the manufacture of sodium hydroxide is an example for base. Okay, that is sodium hydroxide, NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Okay, so sodium hydroxide is used in the manufacture of soap. All the soaps, all the detergents have sodium hydroxide. Then calcium hydroxide is used in whitewashing of building. Okay, whitewashing of building paint. In paints, the calcium hydroxide is a base which is used in the whitewashing of building. Then calcium hydroxide, CaOH. Formula for calcium hydroxide is CaOH. Then magnesium hydroxide is used as a medicine for stomach disorder. The tonics what doctor will give whenever we have stomach upset. Okay, the syrup what we have will always have this magnesium hydroxide. Okay, magnesium hydroxide formula capital M small g and OH, magnesium hydroxide. Then the last one is ammonium hydroxide is used to remove grease stains from clothes. Grease stains from clothes, that is as to your mom, she will use ala and like chemical substances to wash the white clothes. Okay, so such cleaners will have this ammonium hydroxide in it. Ammonium hydroxide, NHOH, NH2 or NH3OH. Okay, ammonium hydroxide. So what are the uses? We have studied 4 uses. Important question, children. Brief answers, it may ask in 4 mark questions. Brief answers, very simple only. You have to remember the names of these bases. The first one is sodium hydroxide is used as soap. Okay, sodium hydroxide which is used in soaps. Then sodium hydroxide is used in the manufacture of soap. Then calcium hydroxide is used in whitewashing. Then magnesium hydroxide used as a medicine. Then ammonium hydroxide used to remove grease stains from clothes. Is that clear so far? Do you have any doubt? You can ask me in the live class. So next we will see test for acids and bases. So this is also very important. Brief answer. Test for acids and bases. So first test with litmus papers. In laboratory we have litmus paper. So whenever we have to do a test for acid and base, we will have this paper, litmus paper. Okay, so an acid turns blue litmus paper into red. So acid turns blue color litmus paper into red. This color indication is very important, children. Please keep it in mind. So with the litmus paper, acid, when you dip the litmus paper, blue litmus paper in acid, the blue color gets changed into red. Okay, so a base, so acid turns blue color into red, whereas base turns red litmus paper into blue. The reverse reaction, totally the reverse reaction. Okay, so acid turns blue color into red color, whereas base turns red litmus paper into blue color. Then test with an indicator, phenolphthalein. So phenolphthalein is an indicator which is dark pink in color. So in acid medium, phenolphthalein is colorless. Okay, whenever we talk about acid, when it comes under acid, phenolphthalein is colorless, doesn't gives any color, whereas in basic medium, phenolphthalein is pink in color. When you combine this phenolphthalein with the base, it will give you pink color. Okay, is that clear? Okay, clear about these two tests? So first test is, once again we will go through it. The first test is test with a litmus paper. Acid turns blue litmus into red, whereas base turns red litmus into blue. In the test for indicator of the phenolphthalein, acid phenolphthalein is colorless, whereas in base it gives pink color. Okay, very simple. Then the last test is test with an indicator. Test with an indicator, methyl orange. So first indicator is phenolphthalein. The first indicator what we saw is phenolphthalein. The next indicator is methyl orange. The next indicator is methyl orange. In acid medium, methyl orange is pink in color. Acid methyl orange is orange color, turns into pink, whereas in base methyl orange is yellow in color. So in acid medium, methyl orange is pink in color. In acid medium, methyl orange, this orange turns into pink color, whereas in base medium, methyl orange is yellow in color. So that is given here with a picture of phenolphthalein. See, phenolphthalein in acid medium it is colorless. In acid medium it is colorless, it doesn't possess any color, whereas when it comes under base it gives pink color. Whereas methyl orange in acid medium, methyl orange gets converted to pink color, whereas in base that orange color is yellow in color, gets converted into yellow color. So pictures will help you to remember the test so easily. Okay, so keep this color in your mind. So phenolphthalein white and pink, whereas in methyl orange pink and yellow. So if you remember these colors, you can easily put your own words and write the test for acids and bases. So next we'll see the acid base indicator. It's given in the tabular column. So this is also an important question. So this will help you to remember easily also. So litmus paper, blue to red. In acid it is blue to red, whereas in base it is red to blue. Phenolphthalein colorless and pink. Methyl orange pink and yellow. Okay, so very simple questions. These are all very important questions. Okay, bases are all very important questions. So whatever we have seen till now are important in exam point of view. So next we will see strength of acidic or basic solution. So what is strength? What strength we are going to find now for acid and basic solutions? Strength is nothing but we are going to calculate the concentration of a solution. You are going to calculate concentration of a solution, that is called as pH. Okay, that is called as pH. Concentration in a solution. Which concentration? What concentration you are going to find? You are going to measure hydrogen ion concentration in a solution. That is called as pH scale by using pH scale. So a scale for measuring hydrogen ion concentration in a solution is called pH scale. The presence of hydrogen ion, the amount of hydrogen ion present in a solution is measured by this pH scale, is measured by pH scale. So what is P here? P stands for potence. P stands for potence. In German it is power. It is called as power. Okay, so that nothing but we are going to calculate the power of hydrogen that is present in a solution. So it indicates a set of numbers 0 to 14. Set of numbers 0 to 14, which is used to indicate whether a solution is acidic, basic or neutral. So usually by using this pH scale, you can calculate whether the solution given is a acid, base or salt or neutral. So acids have pH less than 7. So see, you will have a line, straight line like this. Okay, 0 to 7, 7 to 14. The scale will have the readings like this. Okay, the indicator is less than 7. We call those as acids. Okay, acids will have pH less than 7. Whereas if it is greater than 7, then they are bases. A neutral solution has pH equal to 7. When the solution is approximately equal to 7, we call that as neutral solution. So how will you calculate the pH value? You will have a scale. Okay, the center 7 will be there, 0 left and 14 in the right. The value comes less than 7. So you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the values will be there. And here write 7 to 14. The values will be there. So if the value is less than 7, we call that as solution as acid. If it is greater than 7, we call those solutions as base. If it is exactly approximately equal to 7, those solutions are neutral in nature. Okay, so this is the pH scale. This is how the pH scale looks like. Okay, so acids have pH less than 7, bases have pH greater than 7, and a neutral solution has pH equal to 7. So do you all clear about whatever we have learned so far? We have learned about bases, classifications of bases, properties of bases, uses of bases, and test for acids and bases, and also for the strength of acidic or basic solutions. So now we will see about salts. So we have seen so far about acids and bases. So now the last topic about salts. So what are salts? Salts, normally we know that seawater contains many salts dissolved in it. Okay, the sodium chloride is separated from these salts. This is the salt what we are using for our purpose. So there are many other salts used in other fields. In chemical fields, we are using many salts. So what are salts? Definition for salts. Salts are the products of the reaction between acids and base. Whenever acid and base react together, it gives, the product will be salt plus water. This is what we have seen before, right? The salts are the products of the reaction between acids and bases. The salts produce positive ions and negative ions when dissolved in water. So salts also produce positive ions and negative ions when dissolved in water. So the equation is acid plus base gives, whenever they react together, gives salt plus water. So what are the types of salts? So as in acids and bases, we have seen the classifications, right? So like that we are going to see the types of salts here. So first is normal salt. A normal salt is obtained by complete neutralization of an acid by a base. So whenever acid and base reacts each other, a base will replace the hydrogen atom from the acid. Okay, so then you will obtain a salt and water. So this is a normal salt. Sodium hydroxide is a base and hydrogen chloride is a acid. So this hydrogen in the acid present in the acid, this H will get replaced by the base. That is why it is called as neutralization of an acid. Okay. So you will get NaCl, sodium chloride and water. The sodium chloride is the formula for the salt what we use for our cooking purpose. Okay. The next one is acid salts. So what are acid salts? It is derived from the partial replacement of hydrogen ions of an acid by a metal. So whenever it reacts with metal, that metal will replace the hydrogen atom from the acid. Okay, so when calculated amount of base is added to polybasic acid, acid salt is obtained. So a certain amount, a certain weighed amount of base, polybasic acid salt will produce. Acid salt will be obtained. So the equation is sodium hydroxide plus H2SO4 is the formula for sulfuric acid. Gives ammonia sulfate by sulfate. Okay. HSO4, ammonia bisulfate plus water. Then what are basic salts? Basic salts are formed by the partial replacement of hydroxide ion, that is OH ions, of a diacidic or triacidic base. Diacidic, or that is you will have, diacidic means you will have 2 in the suffix, whereas triacidic means you will have 3 in the suffix with an acid radical. So PbOH2 plus HCl gives Pb, plumbum, tin. Okay, tin hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid gives tin hydroxychloride plus water. Okay, these are the basic salts. Then we will see double salt. So what do you have any idea about double salt? What will be the definition for double salt? Okay, the double salt, 2-mark question, important question. Double salts are formed by the combination of the saturated solution of 2 simple salts in equimolar ratio followed by crystallization. Okay, double salts are formed by the combination of the saturated solution, a pure solution of 2 simple salt in equimolar ratio taken under a proper ratio. When 2 salts taken under a proper ratio dissolved in a solution followed by crystallization. Crystallization is a method. Okay, in lower class, sublimation, crystallization, radiation, evaporation, sublimation, these things you would have studied in your lower class. So for example, potash alum is a mixture of potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate. Potash alum. So the example for double salt is potash alum. It is a mixture of potassium sulfate. It is a mixture of potassium sulfate. Potassium, formula for potassium is K. Sulfate, SO4, and aluminum sulfate, Al, SO4. Potassium, KSO4, and aluminum sulfate, Al, SO4. So the formula for potash alum is KAL. Potassium, K stands for potassium, aluminum sulfate, and 12 number of H2O, 12 amount of H2O. This is the formula for potash alum. This is the together, all together is the formula for potash alum. KAlSO4 the whole 2, 12 H2O. This is the formula for potash alum. So what are double salts? Double salts are formed by the combination of saturated solution of the simple salts in equimolar ratio followed by crystallization, and the example is potash alum. It is formed by the combination of potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate, and the formula is KAlSO4 the whole 2, 12 H2O. So now we will see the properties of salts. Salts are mostly solids, you know that, which melt as well as boil at high temperature. Salt solution, salt gets melted and as well as it boils in high temperature. Most of the salts are soluble in water. Mostly all the salts will dissolve in water. Soluble means dissolve. Okay, for example, chloride salts of potassium and sodium are soluble in water. So all chloride, the salts which possesses chloride, Cl, and of potassium, okay, and sodium, Na, are soluble in water. The salt which contains Cl, salts of potassium and sodium, will get dissolved in water, but only one salt which doesn't dissolve in water, silver chloride, is insoluble in water. Silver chloride, that is Ag, silver. Ag is silver and chloride, Cl. Silver chloride is insoluble in water. And salts are odorless. What is odorless? It doesn't give any smell. Okay, they are odorless, mostly white cubic crystals or crystalline powder with salty taste. So you have salt at your home, you have crystal salt as well as powder salt. Okay, you can check that. Then salt is hygroscopic in nature. What is hygroscopic? Absorbs moisture. Hygroscopic means which absorbs moisture. Absolutely, salt absorbs moisture. Okay, salt absorb moisture, so that is why it is hygroscopic in nature. The next last one is water of crystallization. So what is water of crystallization? Many salts are found as crystals with water molecules. These water molecules are known as water of crystallization. Many salts are found as crystals with water molecules. Mostly crystal salts are always crystal in shape. Okay, so it contains water molecule. These crystal salts contains water molecules, which is called as water of crystallization. The salts that contain water of crystallization are called hydrated salts. So such type of salts are called as hydrated salts. The number of molecules of water hydrated to a salt is indicated after a dot in its chemical formula. So that is why potash alum has a dot. That is why potash alum has a dot in between. That is the formula is KAlSO4 the whole 2 dot 12H2O. Okay, that dot indicates that it has 12 amount of hydrated molecule. That is hydrogen molecule. That is it has water molecule in it. Okay, so that dot indicates that the amount of hydrated molecule present in the salt. So for example, copper sulfate crystal have 5 molecules of water. So the formula is CuSO4.5H2O. Whereas in potash alum it has 12 amount of water molecules. Okay, so this water crystallization makes the copper sulfate blue. So when the crystal salt has some water molecules, it gives certain color to the certain salts. Okay, the copper sulfate attains blue color because of the presence of this 5 molecules of water. 5 molecules of water. So this copper sulfate is blue in color, and when it is heated, it loses its water molecules and becomes white. So when you heat this copper sulfate normally, when the crystals possesses 5 molecules of water, it is blue in color. It is blue in color. Okay, whereas when during the heating process, it loses the water molecule, so it loses the color and it will becomes white color. Again, when it gets cooled, it retain its color back, same blue color. Okay, so such type of heating process is called as water of crystallization. Okay, the salts that do not contain water of crystallization are called anhydrous salts. So salts that do not contain water of crystallization are called anhydrous salt. They are generally found as powders. So fill in the blanks in the following table based on the concept of water crystallization. You have an activity 4. You can do it after the end of the session. Go through the lesson. Try to fill up the answers. We will discuss during the live class about the answers. So next we will see identification of salts. How do you identify whether that is a salt or not? So we have certain tests to identify the salts. So what are the tests? You have 4 tests to identify the salts. So first is physical examination of the salt. The physical examination of the unknown salt involves the study of color, smell and density. So physically, by seeing, physical examination means by seeing, touching or smelling, you can recognize the product what it is. Okay, so the first is physical examination. So you can study the color, smell and density. This test is not much reliable, so you cannot come to a conclusion about by doing a physical examination. So this test is not much reliable. So second test is dry heating test. This test is performed by heating a small amount of salt in a dry test tube. After all the water get evaporated, the dissolved salts are sedimented in the container. So when you heat the solution for a longer time, the water gets evaporated naturally and the salt will remain in the container. So by dry heating test you can identify the presence of salt. Then the third one is flame test. Certain salts are reacting with concentrated hydrochloric acid HCl forms the chlorides. It will form chlorides when the hydrogen atom get replaced during the flame test. So you will have the remaining chlorine. Okay, so the paste of the mixture with the concentrated hydrochloric acid is introduced into the flame with the help of platinum wire. So some of the indications given here to identify the salt during the flame test. Okay, the color of the flame and the inference, the type of salt, what type of salt that is present there. So if it is brick red in color, the salt present is calcium. It is golden yellow, sodium. Pink violet, it is potassium. And green flushes, it is zinc. Okay, so this is the indication table. Okay, so the color of the flame and the inference is given here. So by using the flame test you can recognize the salt by physically absorbing the color of the flame. So the next, when HCl is heated with the carbonate salt, it gives off carbon dioxide gas with brisk effervescence, a strong smell which we couldn't bear. Okay, so that type of brisk effervescence, strong smell. Brisk means very strong smell. Okay, so strong odor, releases out carbon dioxide when hydrochloric acid is heated with a carbon salt. So these are the three tests what we use. So this is the last one is the brisk effervescence of the carbon dioxide gas when hydrochloric acid is added with the carbonate salt. Only this carbonate salt. The test is conducted only with the carbonate salt to find whether carbon is present. Okay, so brisk effervescent smell is emitted out. The third one is the flame test and the second one is dry heating test and the first one is physical examination of the salt, which is not much reliable. So next we will conclude by the uses of salts. The uses of salts. A common salt, sodium chloride, NaCl. It is used in our daily food and used as a preservative. This is a common salt, sodium chloride, what we are using at our home. It is used in our daily food. And preservative means what? Meat or fish, whatever you are refrigerating. Before refrigerating you can salt that NV items. Okay, if it is salted then it is preserved properly. After that you can refrigerate it. So next, washing soda, that is sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. So it is used in softening hard water. The hard water will become soft water when this washing soda, that is sodium carbonate, is added. So whatever powder we use for the washing of the clothes. Okay, so that is called as sodium. That implies that will have the presence of this sodium carbonate or manufactured by the sodium carbonate. Okay, so it is used in the glass, soap and paper industries. It is used in glass, soap and paper industries. Next is baking soda. Baking soda is a powder what we use for baking bread and all in the industries. So the salt used in baking industry is sodium bicarbonate, NaHCO3. It is used in the making of baking powder, which is a mixture of baking soda and tartaric acid. So baking powder is a mixture of baking soda and tartaric acid. It is used in soda acid fire extinguishers. Then baking powder is used to make cakes, bread soft and spongy. So when you use this baking powder only, cakes, bread does become soft and spongy. It neutralizes excess acid in the stomach and provides relief. Okay, this baking soda neutralizes the excess acid that produced in our stomach and also gives the relief of the acidity. So next, bleaching powder, calcium oxychloride, CaOCl2. It is used as a disinfectant. Okay, CaOCl2. It is used as a disinfectant, as like a sprayer or a powder, which can easily stop avoiding the infection. It is used in textile industry for bleaching cotton and linen clothes. Plaster of Paris, very important question, children. Plaster of Paris, calcium sulfate hemihydrate, calcium sulfate hemihydrate, CaSO4 dot half H2O, that is, it contains half molecule of water. It contains half molecule of water. So whenever this dot has come, we call that as a salt, perfect salt, hydrated salt. Okay, hydrated salt means it will have water molecule in it. So plaster of Paris is nothing but calcium sulfate hemihydrate, calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So the first point is, it is used for plastering bones, plastering bones. Whenever there is a fracture, bones, you have seen plaster of Paris, like skeleton model and all, will be kept in the labs, medical labs. Okay, so in school labs, I'm not sure, whereas in medical labs, medical colleges and all will have this skeleton which is made up of plaster of Paris. So all this bone structure are made up of plaster of Paris. Okay, so it is used for plastering bones. That is when you have fracture, it is get plastered by this plaster of Paris. They apply this powder on the fractured part and then they will tie it up with the cloth. So it is used for making cast for statues. Actually, for making statues, this plaster of Paris is used. So what is plaster of Paris? It is nothing but calcium sulfate hemihydrate, CaSO4 dot half H2O, is used for plastering your bones. Then it is used for making cast for statues. The next one, the next here you have an activity, go through it. The next one is, when an acid reacts with a metal, when an acid reacts with a metal, hydrogen gas is evolved. When an acid reacts with the metal, actually the lesson ends up here by the plaster of Paris. When we explain the plaster of Paris, the lesson ends up here, children. So by the activity, explaining the activity 5, see, boil about 100 ml of groundwater in a vessel to dryness. After all the water get evaporated, observe the inner wall of the vessel. Can you observe any deposits? This is the deposit of dissolved salt present in water. You take groundwater in a vessel to dryness, 100 ml of groundwater. After all the water gets evaporated, observe the inner wall. So you can see whitey powder. When you rub the vessel, you will you can see feel the salt presence deposited at the bottom of the vessel. Okay, so the lesson comes to an end now. You have points to remember after that. So go through the points to remember. It will have very important points like acid is a substance which furnishes H plus ions, and salt is a product of reaction between acids and bases, and salts have various uses in everyday life. Acid and basic solutions in water conduct electricity. And then pH paper is found out. What is the uses of this pH paper? Is given solution whether acidic or basic in nature. Litmus paper is also used to find out whether the solution is acid or base. Then you learn about the aqua regia as a mixture of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid optimally in a molar ratio of 3:1. Okay, then what is the use of this pH scale? It is used to find the power of hydrogen ion concentration in a solution. Then later on you have textbook exercises. So textbook exercise, zinc plus 2 HCl gives zinc chloride plus what will come? H2O2, hydrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. What will come? Or the hydrogen atom. So because this is an acid, right? So acid, one hydrogen atom gets replaced. So H2 is a gas which gets released here. So H2 is the answer. Apple contains malic acid. Orange contains ascorbic acid. Orange contains ascorbic acid. The answer is ascorbic acid. Then acid in plants and animals are organic acids, whereas acids in rocks and minerals are dash acids, inorganic acid, or weak acids, they are inorganic acids. Fourth, when acid turn blue litmus paper to green, red and orange. to red. Red is the answer. Since metal carbonate and metal bicarbonate are basic, they react with acids to give salt and water with the liberation of CO2. With the liberation of CO2. CO2 is the answer. Then sixth one, the hydrated salt of copper sulfate has dash color. It has blue color. It has blue color. Okay, so these are the answers for choose. Anyhow, PDF will be uploaded to you. Okay, the answer in briefly. So the classwork for you all is classify the various types of acid bases on their sources. First question, classwork. Okay, you have to write this question in your classwork. Give them, write any 4 uses of acid. Second question, then what are the various uses of aqua regia? Fourth question. Then fifth question, what are the uses of plaster of Paris? So I want you all to write these 3 questions in your classwork in answer in brief. That is first question, second question, fourth question as well as fifth question. First question, second question, fourth and fifth question. These 4 answers, please write it in your classwork. Whenever the PDF is uploaded, you can copy down the answers in the classwork and submit it soon as possible before the exam commences. Then answer in detail. Answer in detail. You have 5 questions, right? So out of 5, I want you all to write the second question in your classwork. Give the test to identify acids and bases. Give that very important question. The test to identify acids and bases. Then write any 5 uses of bases, 5 uses of salts. Write the 4th question and 5th question. Okay, first question, 4th and 5th from answer in detail. Write any 5 uses of salts and sulfuric acids. 5th question, sulfuric acid is called as a king of chemicals and why it is called so. So these are the important questions. When you copy down it in your classwork, you can have a glance about the answers. So it will be easy for you to remember also. Okay, whenever if you write 2 times or 3 times, the writing work is given for you to make it understand, and it will register in your brain so soon. Okay, because you can note the answers, whatever you are writing will register in your mind. So while reading once or twice, when you read the answer, you will get thorough with the answers. Okay, so and not only it is a writing work, it is your work to read these answers. Okay, answer in briefly, first question, second question, 4th and 5th question, and in answer in detail, second question, 3rd and 5th question. Second question, 4th and 5th question. So go through these questions, answers. You can search the answers in the book itself. It is straight questions. You can go through the answers from the book itself. Okay, copy down the answers when the PDF was uploaded. Thank you, children. Have a good day.